Back Western Conference Finals. Doggy, the man has been in 6 playoff series, his last 6 playoff series. He's taken on Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Nikola Jokic, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, Luka Doncic twice, Steph Curry, and SGA. He's won 4 of those 6 series. 4. And has been a back-to-back Western Conference Finals. This year, he's averaging a career-high 28.9 points, third in the NBA, 49% shooting from the field, 56% in clutch time, career-high 40% from three-point range. The brother is box office. Pay attention, my God. He is box office. Now we look at Kevin Durant. And this is where I'm with Wendy, because it gets very sensitive. I don't give a damn about me and Kevin Durant clapping back and forth from time to time. I love Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is one of the top 10 players all time, one of the elite players that has ever played this game. 7 feet tall, 7'6" wingspan, mid-range, long-range, handle. He's just a walking bucket. We know what he could bring. But here's where I'm looking directly at you, Mad Dog Russo. The ability to galvanize folks is something that we can't minimize, particularly in this day and age come playoff time. Ant-Man is a gravitational force. You just flow towards him, and you feed off of his energy. And yes, he's lost. It took an epic performance from Luka Doncic, which to me was not Ant-Man's shining moment. That series against Dallas, and Luka Doncic put on a show at his expense. That's true. But losing to a Jokic, there's no shame in that. It's Nikola Jokic. I'm saying to you, when you look at Ant-Man, look at this, losing to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm sorry. It's not just Shai. It was that defense of Oklahoma City, which was otherworldly last year. You look at Ant-Man and what he brings to the table and how he rises to the occasion in postseason time when he's going up against some of these guys. Like, yeah, let's go. It's me and you. They got to get help to help them against him. And unfortunately, he hasn't been able to rely on the likes of Rudy Gobert or Jaden Daniels or, Naz Reid or stuff like that, even though those are really good players. My point to you is that when I look at him and his youth and his youthful exuberance, along with his otherworldly skills, because they are otherworldly, and has improved his three-point shot to be a 40% three-point shooter, and the way he goes at it.
What's up, everybody? We are back. And today we are watching First Take, Stephen A. Smith, Brian Windhorst, and the crew. They're talking about the Lakers. And let me tell you, the Lakers are a hot mess right now. Let me set the scene. The Lakers lost to the Thunder. Badly. 123-87. A complete rout. But here's the thing. The Lakers were missing LeBron James. Missing Austin Reeves. Missing Luka Doncic. So they were already down 3 of their best players. And still, nobody expected them to get blown out like that. But the real story isn't the loss. The real story is what happened on the sidelines. J.J. Redick, the head coach, got into a heated exchange with Jared Vanderbilt. He called a timeout early in the second quarter specifically to take Vanderbilt out of the game. And then after the game, J.J. didn't apologize. He didn't sugarcoat anything. He said, and I quote, "Rui didn't do his job, so I took him out." He said, "We've got to find 9 guys that are all in on us fighting." And then he called out DeAndre Ayton directly. He said, "He's had trouble catching the ball. We've run plays for him. He just hasn't been able to catch the ball." Now, Stephen A.'s response to all of this is absolutely legendary. He starts by defending J.J. Redick. He says, "I love that J.J. did this." He says J.J. doesn't suffer fools. He doesn't play. He's not going to sit there and smile in your face while you're being lazy. Stephen A. says, "You're not going to call him a liar." And then he drops a line that I need to frame. He says, "He's an acquired taste. No doubt. But he made me better. He made the show better. He's made the Lakers better. He makes players better." But then, and this is where it gets amazing, Brian Windhorst pushes back. He says, "JJ's not really working with nothing. DeAndre Ayton was the #1 overall pick in the draft." And Stephen A. loses his mind. Watch this. Stephen A. says, "You're going to make me do this? You're going to make me ask you, Were you in the Bahamas and you ran into DeAndre Ayton and you're being nice? He says, did you just say DeAndre Ayton? The number 1 overall pick? And there's an APB out for him 50% of the damn time. And then he delivers the line of the year. He says, you literally are calling airlines. Did he hop on a flight? Because sometimes he ain't showing up at the Lakers games. You see somebody in the uniform with his jersey on standing 7 feet tall. But when you're looking for their game, it's an APB out for that bad boy. You don't know where to find it. That is the best description of DeAndre Ayton's career I have ever heard. An APB. An all-points bulletin. Because nobody knows where his game went. Sometimes he shows up. Sometimes he doesn't feel like playing. That's not a basketball problem. That's a motivation problem. That's a heart problem. And Stephen A. is right. JJ Redick is not the issue here. The issue is that the Lakers have players who don't care. Players who don't play hard every night. Players who need a coach to scream at them just to get them to try. JJ called a timeout 2.5 minutes into the game to yank Rui Hachimura. He used 4 players in the first quarter who had been playing with the South Bay Lakers, the G League team. That's how desperate he was. That's how little he trusted his own bench. And you know what? It almost worked. Brian Windhorst said the Lakers actually tied the game midway through the second quarter. It was 36-36. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander came back in, and it was a 20-point game in 5 minutes. Because the Thunder are awesome. That's not on JJ. That's on the roster. Now, let's talk about Jared Vanderbilt. Stephen A. goes old school on him. He says, Vanderbilt's not Michael Jordan. When a coach takes you out of the game, sit on the bench. Larry Bird never did that. Willis Reed never did that. Clyde never did that. Ewing never did that. Put your fanny on the bench. I don't want to hear a word out of you. And he's right. The audacity of a role player, a defensive specialist who missed 3 free throws, to argue with his coach during a timeout? That's absurd. And here's the bigger picture. Stephen A. makes a great point about Darvin Ham versus JJ Redick. Darvin Ham took the Lakers to the Western Conference Finals. He's a good coach. But what was the knock on him? He was relatively mild-mannered. He didn't hold players accountable the way JJ does. And that's why LeBron wanted JJ. That's why the front office wanted JJ. Because JJ doesn't care about your feelings. He cares about winning. Stephen A. says, he don't suffer fools. He don't suffer laziness. He don't suffer people that ain't going to do their jobs. He doesn't suffer lack of accountability. And then he compares himself to JJ. He says, you think I'm not viewed as an asshole by some people? You damn right. Because I want results. Period. So what's the takeaway? The Lakers are a mess right now. But JJ Redick is not the problem. The problem is players like DeAndre Ayton who need an APB to find their game. Players like Jared Vanderbilt who argue with coaches when they're playing terribly. The problem is that the Lakers have no depth. No consistency. No heart. But JJ is doing his job. He's holding people accountable. He's calling out the guys who aren't trying. And if the players don't like it, they can sit on the bench or they can ask for a trade. Because JJ Redick is not going to change. And honestly, he shouldn't. Here's my question for you. Is JJ Redick right to call out his players publicly? Or should he keep that stuff in the locker room? Drop a comment. Let me know. And if you want more of these breakdowns, hit that like button and subscribe. We are building something real here.